Claude just shipped a real design tool, no code, no Figma, just a prompt. Describe the site and Claude designs, wires, and ships a real working page in minutes. You don't need to know CSS or hire a designer. We'll design a real site live from blank prompt to a page you can visit. Quick context on why this matters. Getting a real website up used to mean one of three options. You learn to code yourself, which takes months. You hire a designer or a freelancer, which takes money and a week of back and forth emails. Or you wrestle a drag and drop page builder template until it technically works, even though it looks exactly like every other template site out there. Anthropic just added a fourth option built straight into Claude, no extra app to install, called Claude Design. It launched this year, and today I'm going to open it with absolutely nothing, no template, no brand kit, no prior project, type one paragraph, and show you exactly what comes out the other end. Real build, real site, no cuts, no retakes. So here's exactly what you're looking at. This is Claude.ai/design. A new tab Anthropic added to Claude this year. And here's the important part. It's already included if you're paying for Claude at all. Pro, Max, Team, or Enterprise. No separate subscription, no separate login, no new account to set up. You open it and it asks you one question. What do you want to make today? A prototype, a slide deck, a one-pager document, a wireframe, or an animation? Or you can skip the menu entirely and just start typing, and it figures out the right shape on its own. Before you even type your first prompt, it offers to ground itself in real context. You can point it at an existing design system, upload a screenshot, hand it your actual code base, or connect a Figma file. If your company already has a brand, lock colors, a specific font, exact spacing rules, Claude reads all of that and reuses it on every new thing you build, so nothing comes out looking like a generic AI guess. But here's the honest part, and it's the part that actually matters for most people watching this. You probably don't have a design system sitting around. I don't for this demo. So we're doing exactly what a total beginner would do. Skip that step completely and just describe the site in plain English the way you'd explain it to a friend. One more thing worth knowing before we start typing. This is labeled a research preview, meaning it's genuinely brand new and still rolling out, and it's running on Claude's most capable model. That matters more than it sounds like, because a tool like this lives or dies on one question. Does the model actually understand layout, hierarchy, and spacing, or is it just picking pretty colors? So instead of telling you the answer, let's just find it out together. And on cost, because I know that's the actual objection running through your head right now. This isn't a separate paid product bolted onto your plan. It's included inside the usage limits you're already paying for on your Claude subscription. And if you ever burn through more than that in a month, there's an optional extra usage add-on rather than a hard wall stopping you mid-project. No new invoice to explain to anyone, no separate seat to buy for a tool you'll maybe use twice. Here's the prompt, typed once, no edits, no retries, no second attempt. I'm asking for a one-page site for a small coffee roastery, a made-up brand for this demo called Roast and Ridge. I ask for a hero section with the name and a tagline, a 3-item section explaining how they roast their coffee, a product grid with 3 named bags and real prices, a short story section, and a footer with an email newsletter sign-up. I hand it a warm earthy palette, deep brown, cream, a burnt orange accent, and ask for a friendly serif headline font. That's the whole brief. One paragraph, I hit send, and it just starts building, live streaming in section by section in real time. Watch the left panel. It's narrating its own plan as it goes. I have clear art direction here, so I'll build it directly. And on the right, the actual page is materializing piece by piece. This isn't a mock-up and it isn't a static preview image. This is real HTML rendering live as it's being written. Scroll down and it keeps going entirely on its own. The 3 principles section with real SVG icons, it drew from scratch. A product grid with 3 named coffees at real prices. And our story section with actual founding year and traceability stats. And a newsletter footer at the bottom. Every single section I asked for, in the exact order I asked for it, styled the way I described, and I have not touched one line of code. Total build time for all of that under a minute of actual generation. No design software to open, no font files to hunt down, no CSS to handwrite line by line, just one paragraph of plain English and a short wait. Quick honesty check, because I don't want to oversell this to you. It didn't come out perfectly clean on the very first pass. Partway through the build, it actually caught its own bug. A section of icons wasn't rendering correctly, and instead of quietly shipping it broken, it stopped, said so out loud, and rewrote that piece with real inline code before moving on to the next section. I'm not hiding that moment. Honestly, the most useful thing I saw during the entire build, proof that it checks its own work instead of just outputting whatever comes first. A finished page is only half of what this tool does. The other half is editing it afterward without ever touching code. So let's actually change something live. I don't love these icons as flat little shapes, so I click tweaks and just describe the change in plain English, make the 3 icon circles bigger, and give them a warm gold-orange gradient instead of a flat color fill. Notice what I'm doing here. I'm not opening a color picker myself, and I'm not hunting through a CSS file. I'm just telling it what I want in the same sentence I'd use talking to a real designer. And this is the part that actually separates it from a one-shot AI image generator. It doesn't just repaint a picture and call it done. It goes back into the real underlying code, builds a genuine adjustable control for icon size and both gradient colors, and applies the change across the whole page. Watch the icons update live right there in the same session with a real slider and real color swatches you could keep nudging afterward. That one small edit is really a stand-in for the bigger promise here. These same panel handles, inline comments dropped directly on any element, straight text edits, and live nudges to spacing, color, and layout. If you're working with other people, projects can be shared inside your organization with view or edit access, so a whole team can comment on the same design. And once you're happy with it, the whole thing packages into a bundle Claude code can pick up and actually turn into a deployed working site, or you can export it as a shareable link, a PDF, a slide deck, or a plain standalone HTML file you can host absolutely anywhere. So who is this actually for? If you've never touched a design tool in your life, this takes you from a completely blank page to something genuinely presentable. A real landing page, a pitch deck, a one-pager. In the time it takes to type a paragraph and wait under a minute, that is not a small thing. That used to be a multi-day back and forth with a designer, or weeks of you slowly learning a tool you'll only use once. If you're on a team that already has a real established brand, it might actually be even more useful the other way around. Point it at your code base or your Figma file, and it inherits your real colors, fonts, and components instead of guessing at a generic AI look. One team already using it in production put it simply: what used to take a week of back and forth now happens in a single conversation. That's not me guessing at the value. That's an actual team's own words about their actual workflow. It's not just for solo beginners or big brand teams either. There's a real middle case too. A product manager can sketch out a feature flow in plain English and hand it straight to a developer to build for real without ever opening a design tool themselves. A designer can turn a static mockup into something people can actually click through and test without waiting on a code review or a pull request just to get feedback. 3 genuinely different jobs, one tool, where it still genuinely needs a human, and I'd rather tell you this straight than let you find out the hard way. It's still labeled a research preview, so it can misfire on a truly complex multi-page application with real backend logic, real user accounts, real payment processing. What we built today is a real working front-end page, not an entire production business. For a serious multi-page product, you'll still want a developer's eyes on it before real customers ever touch it. Use this to get from nothing to a strong, real first draft, fast, then decide how much further it actually needs to go. My honest verdict: for a beginner project, a portfolio, a landing page, or a pitch, this is the fastest I have ever personally gone from a blank page to something real and visitable. Quick recap of exactly what you just watched. We opened Claude.ai/design with zero setup, no design system, no template, no prior project. We typed one paragraph describing a site. We watched it build every single section live, including catching and fixing its own bug in the middle of the build. Then we live edited the finished result with one plain English sentence instead of touching a color picker. Prompt to a real, visitable page, start to finish, on camera, no cut. If you want to start a business using AI agents, check out our community in the description down below. And check out this video where I hook of the recommended watch next video. Click it on the screen right now.